morning, everyone. I hope everyone is somewhere warm. It's Saoirse, I was just saying before we started, it's so cold today. So yeah, hopefully got some good ideas today to help kind of warm up your social media and some content ideas that will keep you on track for 2022 to have some great content going out there that'll get some traction with your audiences. It's worth mentioning right from the off, this webinar is being recorded and a copy of the slides will be made available. So don't feel that you have to, scribble loads of notes or you think you might miss something. You'll get a copy of the slides and there's some nice downloadable goodies for you as well along the way. So that will all be available to you at the end. So by way of introduction, my name is Amanda Davies. I have been working in marketing for more years than I really care to remember or admit, but it's a long time. And I'm currently working for Green Umbrella Marketing, doing all sorts with them. So that might be anything from copywriting, whether it's long form copy like blogs or website copy, but also managing social media accounts on behalf of our clients. And that can range from B2B, B2C, so huge range of audiences. And along the way, have gathered ideas of what works, what really gains traction. So hopefully I'm going to share some things with you today that maybe you already know, maybe it's already on your strategy, but it might sort of spark something, kind of go, oh, I could come about it from a different way. So I really hope there's some good ideas in there for you. And of course, if you've got any questions, we've got time for Q&A at the end. And if you've got any sort of real success stories, that you share them as well. This is Iconic is a community, so it'd be great to kind of hear what's working for you at the moment. So without further ado, we've got 20 ideas to get through. So kicking off with number one. So first idea that you can share is original content. So content that you have created yourself. Idea number one, and the dog starts barking. I'm just going to shut my door so he goes a bit quieter. Bear with me. So no escaping that we're still in the work from home mode at the moment, and he's alerting me to the postman. So there we go. Right. So idea number one, yes, original content. So content you've created yourself. Nothing else is out there that has got your name on it or is really suitable for your audience. So the sorts of things this would include would be blogs that you're writing yourself. So that might be weekly content, it might be bi-weekly. If you are going to do a blog, make sure it is a full part of your strategy. It's not just quick, we'll write an article and then it sits there and nothing else happens for 3 months. So ideally, at least twice a month, I would say, if you're blogging, and that can go out to your audience, you've got some content to share, but then also more specific content. So whether that might be ebooks, whether it's kind of a document someone can fill in. So again, for our audience, we develop every quarter a strategy planner. We've got an ebook of 75 things, ideas to post on social media. And I'll share links to these as well, because I actually do think they're super useful, super useful for helping keep your strategy on track. Every month we do what we call a social snippet. So we let people know about any news that's going on in social media as well. So, and it might be content that is online and downloadable that you can share, but also hard copy as well. So we post our social snippet out, so people have got something tangible in their hands and it's got the strategy planner in there. So think about what you can do that would be ideal to pull your audience in, that is unique content that you've created. So, and of course, the main objective there is to push traffic to your website, and your brand is really strong on there as well. Okay, so that's idea number one. There we go. So moving on, idea number two. Look at what is trending and what popular content is out there at the moment. It can be a little bit depressing looking at the news sometimes at the moment. It seems to be the same stories day in, day out. But knowing what is the hot conversation, what people are talking about, and you can find what's trending. So for example, if you go on to LinkedIn, so if you picture looking at your newsfeed on LinkedIn, on the desktop version, the top right of that, there is today's news. And LinkedIn will normally give you a notification to say, here's what's happening today. So you can see the kind of trending topics, the easy option would be just to click share and share a news story. What I would say is put your relevant spin on it for your business. So whether that's, a kind of thought leadership from you, if you're the business leader, if you're managing personal feeds for somebody, what's their take on it? So, so some of the topics we've got here, for example, so this is from a few months ago. We've got typically Boris Johnson, lots of news about kind of COVID and working at home. Now topics seem to be in the early new year, the great resignation. Are people really leaving their jobs at the moment? So what spin can you put on that, or how does it affect you and your audiences? So same on Twitter, you have trends for you. You have what's going on in trending news, which hashtags are trending at the moment. And whilst I would always say be a little bit cautious about piggybacking on something that's popular and trending. So this week, for example, Monday was Blue Monday. Just on a personal note, I'm always a little bit kind of, is that media hype? Is it a real thing? Yes, January can be tricky month. So again, be a little bit careful of piggybacking and doing kind of something too obvious. Make sure you put an appropriate take on it for your business. I will also mention BuzzSumo, which is a really useful website where you can go and type in the topic that is relevant to you. So whether that is marketing, whether it is, I know we get a huge variety of businesses that come and join these webinars. So we've had people that do kind of beauty, health and well-being type treatments. So it might be something that's more kind of commercial or industrial. So whatever's relevant to you, you can type that topic into BuzzSumo and it will come up with news stories, which you just literally need to look at. You can share that news story again with your opinion or your advice on it, but find out kind of what's going on in the world right now and jump on that. And something like LinkedIn, if your post or your topic is relevant, it may often pull it through and say, well, your story is now trending, or it's part of the news for today. So again, just getting you in front of that wider audience. But it allows you, so the overall objective is to appear as the expert in your field. So you might not be driving traffic to your website here, but you are kind of putting yourself out there to say, look, I know what's going on in the world. I'm on top of things. As a business, we are, fingers on the pulse. Okay, so that's idea number 2. Idea number 3, so what we call episodic content. So you may have seen, nearly all the platforms now will allow you to go live. You may be thinking about developing a podcast. I think, everyone and their dog seems to be starting a podcast at the moment. But again, if it's niche enough, if there's an audience there for you, having that kind of episodic content, and it's cut off the caption for me there, allows people to know, even if they don't tune in on a regular basis. So, for example, we know a coaching and development company that were doing a kind of daily workout, so 15 minutes just to get people energized, and they would do it every day at 9 o'clock on the dot. And even if people weren't actually watching and showing up for that, they would be aware and be like, oh, okay, we can see this coaching company, they're live on LinkedIn every day. So at Green Umbrella, we do a live lunch every Thursday. So normally immediately after this webinar, I hop on and join our live lunch, which goes out on our YouTube channel, our Facebook channel. Christina, our managing director, it goes out on her LinkedIn feed. So it allows people to know we're here. And part of the reason we started that was during lockdown, the very first lockdown, we wanted people to know that as a business, we were still around. So it's a real kind of, even if people aren't tuning in for the whole thing, if it's an hour long or half an hour, but it allows people to know you're there, you're present, you've got enough knowledge and information that you're imparting. So really, really good for brand awareness. And it may be that some of the platforms aren't relevant for your business or brand. So you might think, well, Facebook isn't great for me, but LinkedIn is, or vice versa. And remember, of course, from an algorithm point of view, YouTube is fantastic if you're creating video content. It's a massive search engine in its own right. And going live on any platform is always prioritized as well. So, have a think potentially, is it time for you to think about doing some episodic content? Okay. Idea number 4 is asking for an answer. So this is great to not just create some engagement. So again, kind of getting those algorithm, the juices running, but it's also really useful. So rather than just asking for an answer, sometimes it could be a bit of fun, but it also allows you to genuinely get some insight from, we've said your talent pool, but actually really your audience. So depending on what you're asking from. So I've got 2 kind of options here. One was just a pure kind of fun, guess the name of the movie. These sorts of things worked really well when we were in lockdown. They're quite good kind of, you know, if there's an event coming up, so for pre-Christmas, for example. So if you have got time afterwards, you can have a look and see if you can guess all those movies. I think I got a few of them, but some I'm still stumped by. So you've got asked for an answer there, but also, as I say, you can genuinely create a poll or a question where you're saying to people, look, what are you working on right now? What would be the most useful thing I can do for you? So if you are, I don't know, if you are a speaker, if you're launching your own podcast, if you want to know, you can say, right, what do you want to hear from me? Is it how to do X or how to do Y? Yeah, and get these people to give you their feedback. You may kind of feel like, well, if I go on LinkedIn, I just see poll after poll, and some of them are just absolutely not relevant. That's true, there is a lot, and I would agree, there are a lot that aren't relevant out there. But A, some really are, and they're a great way of getting useful information. But also B, we can't resist clicking on a button to vote. So even if we go, it's not relevant, and someone's going, which biscuits are the best, we still can't resist kind of pressing that button and clicking to vote. So it is a really useful way of getting some insight, but also getting some engagement. And of course, as you know, I'm sure as marketers, when you get that sort of first drip of engagement, it's kind of like dropping a pebble into a puddle. It creates those ripple effects. So you get more eyeballs on your post as well. So again, a thumbs up from a marketing point of view. Idea number 5, I need to keep an eye on time as well. So how are we doing? So quotes that work. A little bit of debate about this, about whether quotes are a bit kind of, you know, so 5 years ago. But if you've got something that you think is really relevant, again, you know, it might be not just kind of from somebody famous or, you know, some kind of guru, but actually from people within your business, or, you know, it might be something funny that someone of your colleagues has said that you think would be useful to share. Historic and motivational quotes, they do work quite well. They will often, you know, particularly if you're going for a consumer audience, and on Facebook as well. So, you know, don't discount them. Think about how you can use them to your advantage. Moving on. So idea number 6, FAQs and AMAs. So an AMA is Ask Me Anything, which again, particularly if you are very focused on your personal brand rather than your business brand, or there, you know, there may well be some overlap between the two if you are your business. This is a great thing to do, perhaps as a live video, especially if you're just dipping your toe in the water of going live. So you can kind of go in there and say, look, I've got half an hour to spare, or every Friday I might go live. Ask me your burning questions about, you know, makeup tutorials, how to fix cars, whatever it might be that is relevant to you, how to do whatever it might be on social media. So you probably won't get a great audience on day one. It might be worth kind of having a few plants there to ask you some questions. You know, so it kind of almost like having a family buffet. You need someone to kind of go up first and get the food to start everything going on. But once you've got that content and people are asking questions, it then allows you to kind of repurpose that content and take it across other platforms for you as well. So what are people asking you? Almost on a daily, if not hourly basis, people will ring you, people will ask you questions. That's your idea of content. So what are those frequently asked questions? You can answer, if you're not happy to kind of ask them in a video, do the answer as a video. So this is how you do X, Y, and Z. So yeah, a great idea to kind of appear as an expert in your field and to uncover kind of potential opportunities and business opportunities for you. So kind of segueing nicely on from that is idea number 7. So your video tutorials. So again, if someone's asking you how to do something and you can physically show them, so whether it's a, it might be you have to show a video of you doing something. For me and the team at Green Umbrella, we love using Loom. So it's a free tool and it allows you to record your screen with you. So you can see my colleague Christina has a little circle here, but it allows you to kind of show, oh, for example, this is how you set up doing Facebook ads, or this is how you find your QR connection code on LinkedIn. So it allows you to create that video. You can then download it and then share it with, you know, a select audience. So it gives you an email link you can share with people, or you can embed that across your social sites. You can put it on YouTube, but super tool. And it's one of the, you know, we all often Google how to do this. So how to, you know, add a Netflix account or wherever, or so think again about what you're asked and what you can then do as a quick tutorial and share, once again, with the idea of becoming, positioning yourself as an expert in your field. Okay, again, slightly different angle. So thinking of things you could do differently, book and podcast reviews. So again, you might have seen this with people kind of going, what's everyone listening to? Let's have your recommendations. So if you're asking for recommendations of people to tell you what to listen to, that's a great way of getting some engagement and getting some comments onto your posts, which always good. But also if you are reviewing something that you've listened to, so whether that's a book, an audio book, a podcast, I've put a few in here that well, shamelessly self-promoting, but also some that I quite like as well. So I do love the Off Menu podcast. I think that's very funny. The Lonely Marketers, so if you find yourself sometimes, if you're in a marketing department of one or even two of you, that's a fantastic podcast for talking to people who can share their marketing insights. We have our social snippet show at Green Umbrella, and my colleague Christina talks to business owners and entrepreneurs as well. So so let people know, what have you listened to, what's great, what did you like about it, and I'm going to cover this in one of the ideas further down, but think about where you could potentially be a guest as well. So when you're sharing these details, you can tag in who the presenters are, who's been involved. Always great for, again, getting their engagement and their comments as well, but also might open up some invitations to you. Idea number 9. So this is kind of going behind the scenes, and it probably works better in more informal type businesses. So I imagine if you were, you know, perhaps kind of very regulated financial services, maybe this probably isn't the image you're trying to go for. So think about kind of where you fit on the fun factor spectrum. Are you kind of, you know, wacky and innocent smoothie type, you know, up there number 10 on the fun factor, or do you have to be a little bit more serious and you're kind of at the lower end of the scale? Either way, behind the scenes can work for you. So for example, we took advantage of National Napping Day in the office, and it's just a good way to kind of give a peek into what goes on behind the scenes, what your office is like when you are in the office, and just allows people to get a feel for who it is they talk to, who it is they work with, perhaps on a day-to-day basis. Number 10, so idea number 10, halfway through, a short teaser video. So video isn't going anywhere as a form of marketing. It really isn't. So if you haven't embraced it yet, maybe 2022 is your year to do so. Short form video is the way to go, particularly the way to start off as well. We are consuming a huge amount of short form video. One thing I would say is there are, you know, anything upwards of 90% of videos are watched with the sound off. So always make sure that you have subtitles on there so people can see what's going on. But you can use a short form teaser video to do something like announce, you know, something to create a bit of anticipation. So if you are creating a new ebook or you've got a special offer coming up, so something that helps kind of create some anticipation. And you'll probably see this a lot on Instagram, perhaps with celebrities or influencers, if they've done a collaboration or they're launching a fashion line or a sports brand or a protein drink. they will be kind of, they'll, you know, put the countdown in there. They'll be going to check back on Friday when, you know, 11 a.m. or I've got a special offer coming. So it really allows you to create some content, kind of content before the content, that creates some anticipation and excitement for you as well. So again, with the objective of pushing your employer brand, getting some traffic, maybe not just to your website, but to your social channels as well. So you're building your following there. Idea number 11, nostalgia. So I would say kind of use this maybe sparingly, sporadically, but it's always quite nice to do a bit of a throwback. It allows people to go, oh gosh, yes. So the films that I've put there, so Harry Potter, Ice Age, Born Identity, they're all 20 years old this year, which made me kind of go, oh, that's a bit scary. So if you went to the cinema to watch them, or I don't know, was Blockbuster still around then? Possibly, you might have had the DVD. So allowing a bit of nostalgia, but you can ask people to get involved as well. So, you know, what was the first thing they saw at the cinema? What was their first car? Throwback Thursday is a little bit kind of been there and done that. So again, we would say use sparingly, you know, but think about, you know, again, what's relevant for your business. When was your business created? Is it a particular anniversary? You know, things that you can share which will create a bit of nostalgia. And we all kind of quite like that warm, fuzzy feeling. So again, this works really well on Facebook. You know, even potentially on LinkedIn, if you're going for what was your first job, what did it teach you, what skills has it, you know, brought forward for you. So, you know, particularly if people started in hospitality, even if it was just working in a coffee shop, those skills are kind of transferable. So it does and really help create some engagement and connection with your audience as well. So which is a great way of kind of building those relationships, getting that kind of know, like, trust factor before you kind of you know, grab those leads and hopefully convert them. Idea number 12, facts and figures. So you might think this is a bit of a curveball that I've included here, but today is Penguin Awareness Day, the 20th of January, and also Cheese Lovers Day. So there is a day for everything in the calendar. Yeah, a lot of which will not be relevant to your business. I'm sure that there are very few, if any of you on this call, that need to do anything with penguins throughout your day. But I thought it was quite cute, and I thought it was an interesting fact that cheese is the most shoplifted item on earth. But facts and figures, these kind of mini infographics, and that have got details on them, they are super shareable, really easy to digest. So they are great, and they're so easy to create as well. So even if you've got just a few facts and figures, if you use a tool like Canva, which I love, free, there is also a paid option. But it allows you to create some really, really good graphics, layer them up with your logo so that they are, you know, branded for you. So if they are shared, you've still got a presence in there. But share some facts and figures, whether it's about kind of fun stuff or whether it's related to your business. So, and if you want to know kind of what days of the year there is a website literally called Days of the Year, which will tell you kind of what's coming up. As I said, some of them are just aren't relevant, but some may be worth knowing. Okay, idea 13, interviewing someone. So again, this is a really great way to build those kind of collaborations with maybe someone who's seen, you know, when we say influencer, we often think kind of the people that do YouTube videos, you know, youngish celebrities, but you might have micro influencers. So people who are kind of seen as an influencer or the voice of your industry. So we do a lot of work in the recruitment space at Green Umbrella. So we've got here Christina interviewing a lady called Louise Triance, who heads up UK Recruiter. Really well recognized, but it's great content. She would have shared it with her network and audience, which was, you know, which is enormous. So not only are we sharing across our content and platform, our social platforms, it's being shared above and beyond as well. So it allows you to create maybe that kind of long form video Really easy to do. So for example, something like this that we're doing on Zoom today, you can just record it, you can chop the ends off if you need to and edit. So you've got something for YouTube, but you can also take snippets out of it as well. So if there's sound bites in there that you want to share, and that sound bite you might make into an image, or it might just be kind of a 30-second clip that is a teaser to say, go and watch this video. It might allow you to create some original content that is a checklist for X, Y, and Z. So interviewing somebody is a really, really cool way to get not just one piece of content, but a whole kind of library of content that you can share. So I mentioned you can do it on Zoom. We're also big fans of StreamYard, which is another kind of webinar, Crowdcast as well. But allows you to create a lot of traffic. It might be something you put on a landing page on your website, so you can really get to grips with who's looking at it as well. So nice idea. I'm a big fan of that one, I must admit. Idea number 14, so promoting valuable resources. So we've talked about original content. This is probably very similarly linked to it, but if you have created an ebook, a download, whether it's a white paper on a salary guide for people in your industry, make sure that you have got not just kind of the link and the post for it on social media, but perhaps you're doing some data capture when you're pushing people to your website. So in exchange for this ultimate guide too, people have to give you their email address. So they might be a little bit reticent, no, but you know, if you're a trusted party and you don't spam them, but it just is in exchange for these details, you know, I have to give you my email address to get my ultimate list of whatever it might be. So create those resources and promote. I think one thing we often do, just as marketers, as humans, is we might put out just the one post or one or two posts, and we forget that people aren't on social all the time. We have to constantly drip feed that message out. So make sure you continually promote those resources. Okay, idea number 15. We're motoring through. I think we're doing quite well. I'm asking for people's opinions. So again, they kind of ask me anything, but actually, you know, take that further and crowdsource some ideas. So and that could be as simple as if you've got, I don't know, promotional pens, you're thinking of getting some promotional pens that have got your logo on, and you want to say, should we go for pen A or pen B? You put them down on a piece of paper, put number 1, number 2 above them, and then say to people which one. Or if you're refreshing your logo and you've got a few different designs, which option, A, B, or C? And people will love to give you their opinion. They'll say, I like number 1, it looks easier to use, I like the font on that one. So get people's opinions if you're thinking of doing something, even if you kind of know which way you're going to go. So, you know, it might be that you already have the answer in your head, but actually just to kind of get that engagement and get people talking to you, because for one thing, it allows them to know, you know, there's something exciting happening. So it might be kind of look, we're thinking of trialing a 4-day week. So that's a really big topic at the moment. You know, could that possibly work? If so, would you rather have Monday off or Friday off or a day in the middle of the week? You know, what are people's opinions? Could it work? If there's a new piece of software out that's relevant, so for us, it's nearly always about social. Have you tried the new going live factor on Facebook? Have you tried Instagram Reels versus TikTok? Which one do you prefer? So get those opinions, and you can even tag people in to go, you know, Neve, I'd be really interested to hear what you think about this as well. So again, and people, they almost can't ignore you if they're tagged in as well. So a great way to kind of source ideas as well as get some useful feedback. Okay, idea number 16, partner content. So I mentioned earlier about doing reviews of podcasts and books. Think about who you can potentially partner with that perhaps has a podcast, or they're doing, you know, they're potentially going to write a book, or they do a live broadcast. Maybe they've got a monthly newsletter or a weekly newsletter that goes out. How can you get featured in that? Because people are looking, you know, they look to fill their content. As long as you've got something interesting to say, and it can be the story of your business, you know, how you created your business, what prompted it, your strategy for the coming years, how you coped over the last 2 years, whatever it might be. Think about who you can partner with so you can be a guest on their podcast. So, for example, both Christina and I have been guests on the Lonely Marketers podcast. There's another freelancing association that I've recently been a guest on their podcast as well. So it's all a really good way of kind of getting your name out there, hopefully passing on some useful information, because if you've got that and you can share it, why wouldn't you? So it allows you to kind of partner up, to appear as an expert in your field, but also so you get that, it's not just your network that's sharing it. As I said again, it's kind of your partner's network, and then people that work for them. So it just goes so much further for you than it would be if it was just on your platform alone. So think about who you can partner up with. Idea number 17, third-party content. I almost can't believe it's taken us to here to mention that, of course, there is a whole internet worth of content out there. So you don't always have to be promoting your own stuff. You don't always have to be sharing your own content. There are, whether it's content from a someone who is kind of recognized as a leader in your relevant industry, whether it's from the social platforms, whether it's from a news platform. So it might be kind of local news stories. So again, if you are trying to get a foothold into perhaps the local broadcast media, whether that's local radio or local press, engaging with them and sharing their content helps get you on their radar, because of course they will get a notification to say, oh, Iconic have shared this, Amanda has shared this, and they might, if you've done it a few times, you might think, who is this person? Why are they always sharing? So again, it helps get you on their radar as well, but also shows that you've potentially got your finger on the pulse of what's going on in the wider industry in your local network as well. So, we often kind of think, right, we need to be kind of everywhere, but there could be so much business to be had right on your doorstep as well. So, see what's out there as third-party content. If someone's created a really, really great piece of, content, whether again it's a download or a white paper, if you think it's great, then share it. Let other people know that it's there and it's useful. So, so that's idea number 17. Remember, there is a whole host of content out there that you can tap into and share. Idea number 18, getting personal. And I think this works really well on, particularly on personal platforms, on your LinkedIn feed, maybe less on the company page. But meet the team, this is who you've got working with you. This is what they're interested in. A story about what they did when they were younger. If they have recently completed a charity challenge, Tough Mudders, climbing Snowdon, or the Three Peaks Challenge, whatever it might be. Those personal stories always tend to get more traction than, oh, we've got a webinar coming up, or, oh, there's this news story. So whilst they are still useful pieces of content, we can't resist a puppy photo. Let's face it, if you've got an office dog, pop a picture out there. There's a reason why people keep doing that. And people might go on LinkedIn, oh, this isn't Facebook, but we can't resist it. So it's worth sharing. It will always get some good interaction for you as well. Particularly, find out across your team. It's a really great way to build knowledge of your colleagues as well. What are you working on? Have we got anything that you could share? Even if you're not doing a challenge for charity, it's just for yourself. Let's grab a photo and share, when you are at top of the mountain, or embracing cold water swimming seems to be a real thing at the moment. So yeah, what are those kind of personal things that you can share with people, just to kind of build that loyalty amongst your base, amongst your target customer base and prospect base as well. Idea number 19, so our penultimate one for now, being part of your community. So I literally just mentioned about your local community, so kind of what's on your doorstep, whether that is in and around Dublin, whether that's kind of county-wide, countrywide, but also think about your professional community as well. So that's really what the social platforms want us to do, is to think of them as a community. So we're almost kind of creating little clusters, little networking groups, so we can, almost, you want to be the go-to person in that community to say, okay, so I don't know, say if somebody wants business cards, we know that we go to this printer down the road. So if you've seen a great offer, if you've had a great service, so it might almost be kind of not relevant to your business at all, but if you have gone out, had a great meal at somewhere, share it in your kind of, hey guys, this is just down the road, they've got a fantastic deal on, they're so good in there, whatever it might be. So it's just people know then you're not kind of selling all the time. So we kind of always give the advice of think about the 80-20 rule. So 80% of your content should be non-salesy, it should be engaging, it should be useful. The remaining 20% is what makes you the money, because no one wants to be sold at the whole time. If it was kind of always buy this, book this, do this, we all sort of turn off pretty quickly. But if it's, hey, this is really useful, this might make you laugh, or there's a special offer from these guys down the road, we just thought it was too good not to share, that allows you to be more engaging, so that when you do get the book this, buy this, you're already thinking, I really like these people. Yeah, I think it would be good to work with them. So you're kind of building up that beforehand. So it allows you to collaborate with local businesses. So as we've said, promote local groups as well. So it helps build your brand and build your personal awareness and become part of the communities, whether that is local or within your industry sector. And then the final idea is making sure that you mix up your media as well. So, we've talked about, sharing on all of the social platforms. So whether it's Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, whatever it might be, you can do text only. So you can do a very short, punchy question or post. It might be a text and a link. It might be a text and an image. It might be an image with text on it, which actually our brains, they digest probably a bit more easily because we are very visual creatures. Video, as I've said, is not going anywhere. Live video will always be loved by the algorithms. And sharing documents as well. So LinkedIn now allows you to attach a PDF to your post, and that's almost like a carousel post would be on Instagram. So one that you can scroll through like a gallery, but you can create a PDF, and it might be something that's as simple as a meet the team PDF, or it might be a 5 reasons why you should, or for example, but it just allows people to scroll through. As users, we're really not making the most of that on LinkedIn, but it gets some fantastic engagement. The click-through rates are very high. It's quite different from what we normally see as you scroll down LinkedIn. So think about what makes you stop. If someone's put a document on there that all of a sudden you have to scroll sideways through, you might kind of click through and see. So and of course, the more people that do that, the more people that dwell on your post, that's what we're looking for. So and the logos I've included there, I've mentioned Canva, and we've got the live video there. The H is something called Headliner, which is allows you to create really punchy headlines as well. So it's quite a good way for creating some content, especially if you kind of think, well, I'm great at doing the words, I just need the kind of thing that captures. So yeah, Headliner, so it's headline, not ER, with just an R on the end of it, is worth a look as well. So mix up your media so you're not doing the same thing all the time. And as a little exercise, I would suggest scroll through your chosen platforms. And, it's so easy. We all do it in the evening, don't we, when we're watching TV? We sit there kind of with our thumb just scrolling through. What makes you stop? What makes you pause? Notice what that is and think about how you can recreate that for your business and for your brand. Okay, so that is 20 ideas. I really hope it was useful for you. If you want to connect with me, you can just aim your phone at the screen right now, and that QR code will take you to my LinkedIn profile.